And we're live! Yay! Hey everyone! So, this is our very first community hour on the new Avocado Labs branding. And to start this new track, we have Wassim. Hi, Wassim.
Hi, hello. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much for coming. So, what is Avocado Labs? Avocado Labs is a way for us to connect with the developer community, and hopefully we get some interaction in the chat. We always encourage it. This is a safe space, like we always say. No questions are silly. I do have kids, which you might hear in the background, especially because it's nap time here in Spain, and my kids do not like to nap. Don't know why, but they don't. And also, we bring quality content. So we have amazing people like Wassim on here who share their insights, and we're constantly learning with them. So, a huge welcome to people who are returning and to the new folks that are here today. Sam, do you want to take it from here?
Yes. So, hey everybody, together with Anna, myself, and all these people on the slides at the moment, we're part of the Auth0 developer relations team. So you might see some other faces in future episodes. But today it's me, Anna, who are welcoming Wassim. Avocado Labs is powered by Auth0. This means that we get some time during our working hours to work and on these, organize these events and host these events. So thank you very much, Auth0.
I know Wassim is also doing some promotional work for us there with his.
We have a code of conduct, and you can read the full code of conduct on avocadolabs.dev/code of conduct. But it basically means is treat everybody like you like to be treated yourself. Be nice to everybody. Be welcoming. Also in the chat.
Yes, we do have the power to remove anyone who's not welcoming, and we do. We will do it. I mean, cool. So we have Wassim, and for those of you who entered the avocado name competition, well, you're going to have to hang around to the end because we're going to mention the winner then. And that would mean that our avocado finally has a name. But enough about our avocado. I think we're all here to talk to you, Wassim. We're trying to start this new trend in Avocado Labs, and we want to ask you something a bit personal, just to kind of break the ice and get to know you a little bit more. So, what is your favorite food recipe? And it's something that you either cooked yourself or someone near you has cooked.
So that might be tiramisu. I love tiramisu, and I happen to cook it myself and eat it myself because my partner doesn't like tiramisu. So I can eat like every day piece of tiramisu, and yeah, I love cooking it and I love eating it. I don't know why. It's just delicious.
So
I love it as well. Yeah.
You too?
We can come over to Paris, right, to eat some tiramisu.
Anytime you want, yeah.
Okay, awesome. That's cool. As soon as we can, we'll be over to your house. And why don't you give us a little introduction about yourself, Wassim?
So my name is Wassim Chegham. I live in Paris, in France, and I work currently for Microsoft on the Azure department. I added the cloud in the title because we're also here to help the DevOps folks, not only developers. So we're like trying to be inclusive, and so that's why we agreed to change our title. And my focus at Microsoft, like my work is to focus on JavaScript, both the technology and also the community. And to be honest, that's why I got hired. And beside my work at Microsoft, I do a lot of open source. I'm learning to create music with FM synthesizers and electronic music, stuff like that. And yeah, I'm a proud dad of a 18-month little baby girl. That's all I can say about myself right now.
Well, It's really great that you introduce yourself because me and Wassim go back a few years, so I always forget about all the amazingness he does. But I do really recommend that you go and follow him on Twitter because I don't know how he does it, but he's always putting out amazing content and just like open source work and everything. So really go follow him.
Yeah, and by the way, my DMs are open on Twitter, so you don't need to follow me to if you have questions or just to say hi. So yeah, please do. Yeah.
Awesome. So you said you are a cloud developer advocate. What would a day in the life of Wassim look like?
Oh, that's a tough question because, so as you know, this role is a little bit like it's special, kind of special because we get to do so many activities, and you know we wear many hats. So currently, it's very particular because I'm involved in a product that we just launched at Microsoft, which is called Azure Static Web Apps. So I've been working with the team for the last year and a half on the product, like representing the JavaScript community, you know, giving feedback, trying the tool internally and trying to help the team improve it. And for the last 10-12 months, I've been also working on the CLI for this product. So I basically created the CLI and maintaining it. So that's been like 80% of my time every week, trying to, you know, basically just coding and, you know, bug fixing, design stuff, you know, like engineering mostly. However, I also got to, you know, create content, as you mentioned, you know, create like snackable content on Twitter, like quick videos or writing like some short articles on Dev2 or any other platform. So yeah, mostly like 10-20% content creation, and the rest of my time is spread across this the CLI tool for static web apps. But however, like as I said, this is special because I got really deep into my collaboration with the team, with the engineering team for static web apps. On the other hand, like myself, but also my friends and my colleagues on the JavaScript advocacy team, we also get to, you know, participate into events. Could be like third-party events or first-party events hosted by Microsoft. We do a lot of, again, content creation, be it creating videos or articles, and also we participate in our documentations. So we help improve our documentations for different products, and also create content based on that documentation and tutorials. We have this platform called Microsoft Learn, which is basically a code lab, a platform where you can go there and learn about, of course, Microsoft and Azure stuff, but also Node.js, Python, and web technologies. So yeah, so some of our time is also spent creating content for this platform. I mean, and I can go for a long time. Yeah, let's just keep it short for now.
You sure need to know a lot of different skills and be able to do a lot of different tasks. And hearing what you just said and all the different things you do, my next question will be little bit of a mission impossible, and that's if you have to summarize in one sentence what developer advocacy means to you, what would it be?
I mean, that's easy because I've been doing advocacy before joining Microsoft. So I've been like trying to understand this particular role and basically, you know, come up with a definition to it. So I like to define what I do, and I hope what every developer advocate does is to be a bridge in the gap between a developer community and the company. So basically being the voice of your community internally at your company, so representing the community, the interest of the community, helping them be successful with your products, with your tools, and publicly like representing your company, and by creating content. Could be either for your products, or if you want to like keep it authentic and genuine, like just helping them be successful with whatever tool they're using or issues they're having, or stuff like that. So basically, yeah, being that like the central part between the two ecosystems, your engineering team and the developer community.
This is a really great definition, and this actually brings me to the article that you wrote, right? The subtle art of being a developer advocate. It kind of ties in both of the things you just mentioned. Your day-to-day can be very different, so you're kind of juggling a lot of things. And also just trying to constantly remain being genuine and being humble and being, well, a developer, right?
Yeah.
So, and I know, like, for example, Sam and myself in All0, we're on the marketing team, and this kind of contradicts each other, this humbleness, this genuineness to the old-fashioned marketing values, right? Where it's like sell, let's put ads out, let's do this and that. And sometimes there's these conflicts of interest. I was wondering, one, if in Microsoft you're also on a marketing team, and if that's the case, how do you deal? Because I remember seeing something about that in the article, like developer advocates and marketers. And I know that especially for me, it's very difficult to kind of measure what I do and send that feedback back. And I was wondering what your thoughts are on this topic.
So yeah, that's a great question. Before I answer that, I just want to like make it clear that, well, first of all, there is so we've been hearing about developer advocacy and developer relations. So this, I mean, for probably most of folks, they use the same terms interchangeably. However, I like I think that this might also be related to the size of your company. So I guess, and this is only my opinion, I guess like for small companies, they have like one team, which is, which includes DevRel and developer advocates and other sub teams that I'm gonna mention later on. So at Microsoft, actually, we have this umbrella team, which is called DevRel, Developer Relations, which is like worldwide team. And so inside that team, there is my team, Developer Advocacy. And then you can also again go one level further. We have multiple developer advocacy teams. So mine is focused on JavaScript, but we also have other teams focused on Python, .NET, Rust, but also like students, startups, and IoT, things like that. And inside this DevRel big, huge team, we also have other teams like folks on marketing. So we work closely with them, for events or mostly events. Most of the time, like they organize an event and like they invite us to talk. And when it's first party Microsoft events, of course. Other teams are also folks who probably write content, because we also have some teams, like some product teams, have their own content creators. So we also work with them. And actually, there's like there are like many teams that I have never like collaborated with since I've been at Microsoft for the last 2 years. So like basically there are like lots of folks on this DevRel organization. So coming back to your initial questions, I noticed that by reading job descriptions on the internet for companies looking to hire developer advocates, most of the time based on the job description, the role is tied, is like they report to marketing. And my concern about that is we as developers, we are really bad at marketing. I am bad at marketing. I know maybe some developers might have this skill that's super great to have, but most of the time, we don't have that particular skill. So we probably end up doing the bad job by being hired by marketing team, and having to report to marketing based on their OKRs or KPIs, whatever methodology you have. You probably sometimes lose your authenticity and credibility, in your developer community, because you'll probably stop contributing, technical content or code or whatever technical content you're doing. And because you have to follow those KPIs, because your company investing money on you, so they're expecting some return on investment. So, you're like slowly stop being a developer and just like build marketing content. And again, which is completely fine. It's just my concern is about the title, developer advocates, because that's there is developer in the title. And that's only my opinion and my feeling about this role, this particular role, because there is no actual definition. So any company can take that title and make up their own definition based on their business needs and probably marketing needs. But again, I just want to make it clear that what matters, again, it's not your job title, but how do you help developers be successful. If you're comfortable, not contributing code or writing technical content, that's fine. You need to be comfortable with whatever you're doing. So that's my opinion about developer advocates having to report to marketing. And again, because most of the time, marketing doesn't have the same priorities as engineering when it comes to products and then roadmap and all the stuff. And because we are, if you remember my definition, we act as a bridge between the engineering team or the company and the developer community. So having to gather feedback from the community in order to improve the product. If you're reporting 100% to marketing, that might be an issue. And I know some companies have like a hybrid team. So you're at marketing team, but you still gather feedback for products and help improve the products. But then you're asking, that person, you're asking it a lot because you have to focus on product, on engineering, and then on marketing, and this might become a lot for one single person to deal with.
Yeah, we are a little bit in that boat as we're part of the marketing team at Auth0, but we also try to build the bridge between development and product teams and the developer crowd out there. So there's definitely a bit of a struggle sometimes to prioritize what you're doing, being it building the bridge with the developers or focusing on supporting marketing. But it also has the added benefit that us being a part of marketing, we're the team that usually steps on the brake and is like, this does not benefit developers. So it also helps our marketing to better suit our target audience, which are developers. So being part of marketing can be something complicated and good. And there's also some downsides, especially when it comes to communicating with developer or product teams.
Yeah. And by the way, that's a good one, because we also do this with our marketing folks. When they ask us, we also gather some feedback from them in terms how to present some kind of information to developers, or gather feedback from for instance event or things like that. But yeah, being that's a good point. Being on the marketing team, if you can like how to say this, if you like can impact or like change the way how developers might perceive some announcement or product feedback or information, that would be super great.
Yep, it's a bit complicated, but we'll make it work.
I know.
We have a question from Jessica in the chat, and she's asking, Wassim, what is the hardest thing you have had to do as a developer advocate? Is there one thing that springs out to you that you remember, like this was really hard thing to do in my job?
I think this, working at Microsoft, very huge company, and having to collaborate with product teams on their products. The most difficult thing to do actually is to own their trust, because you need to show them that they can trust you, they can work with you, and because you don't just schedule a call with them and say, okay, your product sucks or the JavaScript community doesn't like this feature, or you need like to build up a plan, a strategy, and reach out to them with the problem, but also if you can with the solution. Okay, see, I got a feedback about this product, this particular feature doesn't really convey, or is not useful, or is buggy, whatever, for the JavaScript or Node folks. Here is probably one, like a working prototype if you're able to build prototypes really quick, or here is like a quick fix. And what's great about some of our products is some of them, and the ones that I'm involved with, are open source, so I can like send a PR and send a fix at the same time. So yeah, earning the trust of folks you're working with is really hard, and just be like genuine, authentic, and show them that they can trust you before like knocking on their door and asking them to fix issues or whatever. It doesn't work like that, at least at Microsoft, for like a huge company.
I guess it's like that everywhere though, because we're all very sensitive about our projects, about the things we work on, right? So you can't just go in with go and wreck the project or whatever. You've got to.
And I've been lucky, like so far, most of the team I've worked with are super like they listen to the feedback, they're willing to make changes, and and even like the static web apps team, they're also, they adopted my open source CLI tool, so that's super fun, it's and really great. So that's really a sign of trust,
Yeah, definitely. That actually brings me to my next question. I know we have one in the chat, but we'll wait just a second, because I think this is a good follow-up question. And what are 2 things you love about being a developer advocate?
So me personally, I like to build projects. I like to build stuff, to create things. Could be like hardware or software or content. So being able to work in this role, and having the chance and the opportunity and the trust of my team and my leadership team to be able to to explore new ideas, create content, create prototypes, create apps, that's really important to me. So that's one thing I like about this role. And also just being able to help developers, help the community that from which I learn most of my knowledge, like since I can recall, like since I graduated from school. So you learn the theory at school, and then the practice professionally, but also from the internet, from reading others' blog posts and articles and watching videos and talks. That's how and also, and especially contributing to open source as well. That's where you really learn most of your technical skills. Of course, beside working on your actual projects professionally. So being able to give back to the community is also like was important to me. So that's why I chose this particular role, like being a developer advocate, and I've been doing this like for the 5 or 4 years, I can't remember. So I knew that's the kind of role I wanted to do, and I was glad that there were such a position in our tech industry, even if it's confusing sometimes for some companies and some folks. It's here, and I mean, of course, if it's confusing, it's our job to make it clear to everyone, like what we're doing, what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. And to be honest, like sometimes I even like think about creating like a developer advocate manifesto. If I don't know if it exists. If it doesn't exist, I will probably create one, because I'm really tired of hearing like multiple definitions and different companies like making up their own definition, but using this well-known job title. So yeah, being able to have this freedom to explore all my ideas and build stuff and create things for the community, and also for my company who's benefiting from that, and also being able to help my fellow developers. I think that's really what helped me wake up every morning and like do the thing that I have to do.
I totally read that manifesto if you ever write it, by the way. But I think this giving back to the community and connecting to the community is one thing that really unites all of us developer advocates or developer relations people, or whatever you want to call us. It's the one thing that drives us all, just being a genuine part of that community.
Exactly.
So it's nice to hear. Yeah. So next up, we have a question from Puzzle App in the chat. And the question is, do you see developer advocate role working for a service-based consultant type company, like a company that just builds custom software on a client request? And I think it's a really interesting question, because I've seen these developer advocates pop up in these kind of companies more often recently.
Yeah. So that's a great question, because I have been a developer advocate in a consultancy company before. And but first of all, I like also to this developer advocate title, I like to read it as someone who's advocating for developers, no matter what the technology or concept or whatever. I mean, you could have like a UX advocate, or accessibility advocate, or security advocate. So developer advocate, at least to me, means also that your main target is developers, being there to advocate for them, be it at like if you're working for a company, or if you're like, even if you're like freelance, you could basically, technically you could still do that, like advocate for folks by helping them be successful and building content, all those kind of stuff. So I've been working for almost like 2 years as a developer advocate at my previous company I was working for, which is a consultancy company. And I had to create my own job title there, because I mean, most of all consultancy company, like they exist to make profit and make money. That's also true for almost all companies, but depend on the size of your company. So I was supposed to do developer advocacy, and back then my focus was Angular. So I had like an agreement with the company to do developer advocacy for 2 days, and the rest of the week like do my actual consultancy work, which was fine. I mean, they're paying you to do some work, and then they're giving you some time to do your and I'm quoting here, your advocacy stuff, because sometimes they don't know what you're doing. And the problem with this kind of companies who doesn't have a product or SaaS product or whatever, like, because they're selling services, they don't sell products. So being like developer advocate in these kind of companies could be problematic because when you work in this kind of organizations, you need to represent something like a product or a tool or a technology, because otherwise, like, let's say if you're I don't know, maybe an Angular developer advocate, so people might think, okay, you're working at Google, so you're advocating for Angular developers, but no, you're not working at Google. Like, you're just a consultant who happen to love Angular and willing to advocate for the Angular community. So these kind of confusions and problems that might rise, and also sometimes these kind of companies might also want you to represent the company at the developer community events or social media or whatever. So they're probably basically just like they need you to represent the company, but they actually don't care about hearing back from the community, because again, they're not selling a product, they're selling services. So there is no feedback you can gather from the community to help your internal engineering teams. So this is one of the limitations I found. So that's why I had basically to create my own job title at this company. I had like an agreement with the CEO and things to do and do not do in this kind of stuff. But I mean, I don't know about all consultancy companies or organizations. Some of them might have some products, some of them might be organized like differently. So that's that really depends, and that's it. Consultant response, it depends. Again, I can't remember the other question. What was it?
I think you kind of answered the whole question there.
Okay.
It was about being an advocate, a developer advocate for technology X at a service company, opposed to a SaaS company, which actually has something on offer for developers. So I think that was the question. We do have some other questions in the chat, and if I go to the next one, it's from Aman himself. I recently started as a developer advocate for the first time. Congratulations. And as much as I like writing blog posts, I struggle to find energy to do that outside of working hours. And a part of his role, or their role, is to create content. Do you have any suggestions on how to find that energy to write blog posts when you don't have the energy at the moment?
So yeah, just let me rephrase the question. So this person is working as a developer advocate, and part of their job is to write content, right? But they're like struggling to find energy. Oh, so I have access to your comment, by the way. Okay, so
I'll put it on screen.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So the I don't really see like why do they need to create content outside of their work hours. I mean, if this is content for their work, like for their company, they should be doing it during their work hours, because this is work. I mean, except if they're doing this for the community, like as a open source or community contribution, whatever, which is totally fine. I mean, just find a balance between personal life and and open source stuff. That's a different topic maybe. But I mean, if you're working as a developer advocate for a company and having to advocate for developers and engineer teams who are building a product, SaaS product, whatever software, this should be done during your work hours. And that's one of the things that you need to really be careful about. Like, and this happens to me also, as someone who's active in the open source community and like love creating stuff and love building projects, doing this during my free time, you need to find a balance between the work you do for your company and the work that you do outside of, for yourself. If if there is like any interest, in the project that you're doing, and you think that your company might benefit from that open source tool or product, whatever content you're creating, I think you should do that during work hours or personal time. But just be careful not mixing up the two activities, if I may say. And definitely like having to work as developer advocate and creating different kind of content, and trust me, especially at Microsoft, you have to learn to say no, because otherwise like you're being pinging, and lots of team needs your help, so you need to kindly decline, or work with the teams that meets your priorities and OKRs and things like that. So you will end up really losing your energy, yeah, that's why you need to also be organized and choosing basically the things that you want to do, you don't want to do, or things that you like to do but you don't have time to do it. But basically, yeah, I agree with Aman himself about this, and that I think that's one of the things, like the drawbacks of being a developer advocate. And this is not related to being a first time. I feel this sometimes, having to do a lot of stuff. If you're not organized, this might really be really problematic for your health, for your personal life. So yeah, be organized if you can, please. That's what I can say.
Yeah,
It's totally fine.
What you said there, learn how to say no, is something I've been working on since the beginning of the year. Like Sam knows, he's always telling me, Anna, just say no. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try, but it's a process and you've got to really learn how to actually say no. And I really love those points you said there also about being organized. It's something like I literally printed out a calendar yesterday to kind of organize my time a bit better. So I feel like I'm kind of going in the right track now, Wassim. But yeah.
I think Aman has added more context to to his question, and actually he was referring to community work and tutorials around that stuff. So yeah, that's I agree with that. So if you need to at the same time do your work as developer advocate and also keep doing your community contributions and volunteering, same thing, try to schedule sometimes during the week. I mean, doing developer advocacy or like doing a normal job and having to do open source by like evenings and weekends is the same thing. Again, you just like need to find a balance between the two. And if you're lucky enough, and I am lucky enough to be working at Microsoft and really do open source during my work, because it just happened that the open source stuff I'm doing, benefits to my company and vice versa. So if you can do that, that's awesome. Otherwise, I don't have like the right answer to this, because that's some like I know like, and especially if you're parents. I mean, and Alex started feeling this 2 years ago when my baby was born. So yeah, your evenings, your weekends, done. No more free time, except if you're like your baby sleeps a lot. that might help. But other than that, yeah, maybe, I mean, just like have like one or two or maybe 3 hours a week to do this kind of content creation for yourself, would probably help. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and I think you really said it there when you said like take care of your mental health, because it's very easy to burn out in this role. just doing the role itself, it's easy to burn out, and then adding additional work on top of that is tough.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm lucky enough to not, get easily burnout because I happen to work on, topics that I like and have this, again, as I mentioned earlier, the trust from my leadership team and my managers to be able to work on topics that I care about and where I can have like more impact. So for me, it doesn't sound like work because I'm like having fun doing the things I'm doing. But I completely understand that's not might not be the case for everyone.
Indeed. And we've already gone over time a bit, but if it's okay with you, Wassim.
Already?
Yeah, time flies. I would like to ask one last question that came in through the chat, and it's from Everton Tiago Acevedo. I work organizing internal events, workshops, and sometimes writing documentation for our code base. That is, in a way, also a developer advocate role, or is it just applying to building communities?
So the writing documentation, and again, this is also based on my experience and the activities that I did, and also from watching other companies how they deal with this role. It looks like organizing events and workshops, and then again I said organizing, not giving the workshop or giving a talk, like organizing the event itself. At least at Microsoft, this is not done by us, by cloud advocacy team, but by marketing team most of the time, or sometimes by the product team themselves, like for instance. And yeah, shameless plug, we have a static web apps conference by the end of June, so organized by the product team themselves, with collaboration with other folks at Microsoft, of course, but that's the initiative of the team itself. So to me, this doesn't sound like developer advocacy actual work. However, again, as I said earlier, where if that's the thing that you like to do, you don't care about the job title. If that's your way of contributing to the developer community and helping them be successful by organizing events and helping developer meet and share, again, you don't really care about is that a developer advocacy job or DevRel or marketing or whatever. But just to answer your question, to me, the organization part, it's not part from the developer advocacy job, as long as what we do at Microsoft is concerned. However, contributing to documentations, writing tutorials, like doing the actual creation, that should be part of the sharing activities of developer advocacy. Maybe probably Anna and Sam have probably different opinion on this question.
I really guess it depends on the size of the team. We're a very small team, so a lot of the organizational part does fall into us.
Correct, yes.
But yeah, I do agree that definitely writing documentation, that doesn't fall onto us, for example. That's part of the SDK team. If I'm not mistaken, Sam's being longer also, so he gets it.
We have a separate docs team as well.
That's correct. Yeah. And we also have a separate content team, so I think it really depends on the company and the structure and how it all works. But, yeah.
I think I agree with what Wassim said. As long as you're giving back to the community in some way, if this organizing, if this is creating content, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what your title is, you're giving back to the community, and that's what counts. So if you want to call yourself a developer advocate because you organize events for the developer community, just do it.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Totally agree.
Awesome. So we're going to finish up with Wassim, but we will be announcing the Avocado name. I just want to say a huge thank you to Wassim for coming on to Avocado Labs.
Thank you for inviting
Thank you very
me again.
much.
And I'm going to quickly just pull up the slides again because I want to share that. Oh, this is the wrong slide. But tomorrow we do have a video going out. So follow us on Twitter. The Twitter handle is on the name, the Avocado slide, so you know what video is coming out. I will not have any spoilers, so you're gonna have to go and follow us. Sorry. And we did this competition which ended yesterday, and today we're going to announce the winner and what our avocado is now going to be called. This is something we put out, and the team, the whole developer marketing team, voted on it. So there was hopefully not too much bias there. And what we have is, our winner is Natalia. I'm not going to try to pronounce your surname, I'm very sorry, I am absolutely awful at names, as most of you already know. But we're going to call our avocado Molly. That's going to be our avocado's name. So, hello to Molly.
Hello, Molly.
Awesome. And like always, Avocado Labs is powered by All0. We hope to see you around in our next community hour, which will be next month. In the meantime, we want you to enjoy our YouTube videos, so go ahead and subscribe there. We have a learners track and an ambassadors track. I forgot to mention at the beginning that Wassim is also one of our All0 ambassadors. That's why he has that lovely jacket.
I love it.
Huge that, like, Wassim is just great in all ways. But yeah, we have the learner track, the ambassadors track on YouTube. Go subscribe so you get notifications for those. And I'm going to stop putting in some shameless plugs now. Have a great day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, and we will see you here next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.